Family Faith, Choosing Honesty by the Cardinal and Dove. Winter has a way of revealing things. Bare branches stand exposed against gray skies. Footprints show clearly in fresh snow. There is no hiding what has passed through. Maeve O'Connell noticed this as she stood at the front door, helping Finn tug on his boots. Clara waited patiently behind him, her orange scarf wrapped carefully around her neck. In the mirror by the door, Maeve caught their reflection. 3 faces, fair and freckled, quietly steady. Sundays were still new in this season of life, not because the church was unfamiliar, but because she was. Maeve was learning how to walk into familiar spaces without the person who had once stood beside her, learning how to answer questions without rehearsing explanations, learning how to be honest without reopening wounds. Her marriage had ended after years of emotional and physical harm, things she once worked hard to hide. Leaving hadn't been dramatic. It had been slow, prayerful, and painful. But it had been necessary. Now she was learning how to raise her children alone and truthfully. "Mom," Finn asked as she zipped his coat, "are we early?" Maeve smiled. "A little." "That's okay," he said. "I like it when it's quiet." She paused. Quiet, she realized, had become a gift. Outside, the air was sharp and clean. Snow crunched beneath their boots as they walked toward the church. Maeve felt the familiar tightening in her chest, the awareness that people would notice what was missing. The easier path would be to smooth things over, to let assumptions linger, to allow others to believe she was still part of a happy, intact family. Online, it would be especially easy. A carefully framed photo, a warm caption, proof that everything was fine. But Maeve had learned, slowly and painfully, that pretending came at a cost. At church, Clara and Finn quickly joined the other children outside. Maeve watched as they laughed and ran, already absorbed in play. Among them were children from another family, deep in a game that didn't require explanation. Children didn't need backstories. They accepted what was in front of them. Inside, Maeve took her usual seat. After the service, as people stood talking, a woman she recognized from Bible study approached her. She was older, kind-eyed, unhurried. "How are you really doing?" the woman asked gently. Maeve felt the reflex rise, the instinct to say fine and move on. Instead, she chose truth. "It's been hard," she said quietly, "but I'm learning." The woman nodded. No shock, no probing, just presence. "If you ever want to talk," she said, "I'm here." Then she added, "There's a small group for women walking through new seasons. You'd be welcome, only if it feels right." Maeve hadn't realized how tightly she was holding her breath until that moment. Truth hadn't pushed someone away. It had invited kindness. That afternoon, Clara sat at the table coloring while Maeve prepared tea. After a while, Clara looked up. "Mom," she asked softly, "what do I say when someone asks where my father is?" Maeve sat down across from her daughter. "You can say our family looks different now," she replied gently, "and that you live with me." "What if they ask more?" "You don't owe anyone the whole story," Maeve said. "You can tell the truth without sharing everything. God cares more about what's true than what looks good." Clara thought for a moment. "Even if the truth feels hard?" "Yes," Maeve said softly, "especially then." That night, as snow fell quietly outside the window, scripture came to mind. Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor. Truth, Maeve was learning, wasn't loud. It wasn't harsh. It was light, the kind that made a room safe to stand in. As winter stretched on, something shifted. Maeve saw it in the way her children spoke plainly, without fear. In the peace that came from not rehearsing answers. Freedom, she realized, wasn't found in pretending to be a happy married family. It was found in walking honestly, one conversation at a time. And so the O'Connell family chose truth. Not as a declaration, not as an explanation, but as a way of life. This has been part of the Cardinal and the Dove Family Faith series. If this story was meaningful to you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. We're glad you're here.